All right. Well, we get to see Sally there trying to get some rest. Have you ever had one of those days where you felt like you just couldn't get enough sleep? You hit the snooze alarm and it gives you 5 more minutes of time to think about the fact that you don't want to get up. And rest is something that can elude us all. Rest is important for our lives, but if it's not there, we all begin to notice it. You begin to get cranky. You always see kids, when they haven't got enough rest, and they're always really cranky and kind of gripey. And do you know adults are the same way? If we don't get enough rest, we get the same kind of an attitude on our face. And it reminds me that we need rest for our lives to function properly. It also reminds me of another script that I saw one time, and it was with Charlie Brown, who visits Lucy at her psychology booth and pays his 5 cents. And she gives him a little advice. She said, life is a lot like a deck chair. Some place it to see where they've been, and some people place it to see where they're going. Charlie Brown replies, I can't even get mine on the phone. You ever feel like that, kind of just like nothing's going on, nothing's going right, or you feel tired, or you feel worn out, you feel burnout, you feel worked over, used up? Someone recently said much of our activity today is really more like a cheap aesthetic, trying to cover up, trying to deaden the fact that we live an empty life. It's kind of sad, and another put it this way, he said, the trouble with life is that it's so daily. Get up each morning and we try to figure out what's going on, and our lives feel so humpy-dumpty, just kind of going along and doing the thing. Got to get up, go to work, come home, eat dinner, watch a little TV, go to bed. And we just feel like our lives are this endless cycle of this. And some people, they try to stay away from that cycle. And they say, no, I'm not going to live that way. I'm going to live apart from the system. There are people who wind up being a part of the system, usually paid for by the system. The problem is that not being a part of the system really isn't something that we can do in order to be able to afford to eat, have a home. And so we're going to have to be a part of the system if we're going to be a part of society, if we're going to have money in order to be able to do the things that we need to do. So what is the answer? Is this the kind of life that Jesus is talking about? Is this the abundant life that he promised us? That humpty-dumpty life of just getting up, going to work, going home, eating, doing dinner, coming back, doing the thing. And the only variation in our life is whether or not we put strawberries or bananas on the cereal. Is that really the abundant life that Jesus was talking about? The writer of the Hebrews put it this way. Because he wanted to explain to us something that was very important, and that is this. Jesus intended for us to have a much more abundant life than the humpty-dumpty life that the world would have you have. In the book of Hebrews it says this, therefore, since the promise of entering his rest still stands, let us be careful that none of you will be found to have fallen short of it. For we have also had the gospel preached to us, just as they did. But the message they heard was of no value to them, because those who heard it did not combine it with faith. See, God invites us into his rest, but we have to enter by faith, believing and knowing that God is going to do exactly what he's promised to do. You see, I want us to look at Matthew 11. In Matthew 11, 28 through 30, Jesus is talking, and he begins to share with his disciples. He begins to tell them, explain to them all the things that he would like for them to have in life. And he says this, he says, come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke fits perfectly, And the burden I give you is light. I began to think about that and all of the things that Jesus is saying there and the metaphors that he's using. And Jesus is making some great promises here. First of all, notice this. The invitation is not just for those who are reading it. The invitation is for you. It's for me. The invitation stands there because he's not saying, come to me, disciples, who are here. He says, come to me all. Every one of you can come to me. The word weary that he says here, I mean, it literally means one who's exhausted. One who's just ready to just face plant into the pillow. Somebody who's just had it. And it describes those who collapse at night, weary from the day's trials. And there are all kinds of weariness that we can have. It's not just one kind of weary. Think about it, for example. You can have emotional weariness. Have you ever been so wrapped into an emotional problem that it just begins to wear you down emotionally, to where your nerves are frazzled? Some of us lack peace in our lives. We worry about not having anything to worry about. And then we worry about our worst fears. But Corey Ten Boom once had a saying that I really feel like is something that I've tried to adapt and adopt as much as I possibly can into my own life. And when I say try to, I'm not perfect, just trust me. But it's something that I strive for, and that is this. She said, what we need to remember is this. And speaking about worry, worry does not empty tomorrow of sorrows. It empties today of strength. So by worrying, you're not going to accomplish anything. Oh man, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to go on? What's my life going to be like? Young people, you worry about the future. Worry about what's going to happen. Worry about whether or not you can do the right school. Will you be able to be good enough in school? While you're in school, you worry about whether or not you're going to be able to get a job, whether or not you're going to be able to find this, find that. I know a lot of kids that are afraid to leave even the comfort of their own little place because they're afraid that they won't be able to handle the real world. I know people who are older who are afraid they're not going to be able to retire. I know people who are retired who are afraid that they're not going to be able to have enough for tomorrow. There are people all over who have worries and worries. And by laying there and worrying, you're not changing anything. You're not going to help yourself. And so we can have these emotional worries, but they're not going to do us any good. Instead, all they're doing is sapping our strength. So, what's the answer to that? Second kind is physical exhaustion. I mean, there are a lot of people who just physically sap. I know people who have certain kinds of illnesses, chronic illnesses, who sap their strength. Just no energy. And there's nothing that you can do about that, other than take the best care of yourself as you can. But we have to be careful in life that we don't allow ourselves to be run down physically, do things that we ought not. I know a man whose name I won't mention, and anyway, you can't stop him from doing things he's not supposed to do. Dad, don't move TV sets. Dad, don't try to move the lawnmower and put it up on the truck by yourself. You got a bad back. He just had an epidural put in his back for pain. And, I'm sure my dad would probably be up on a rooftop shingling tomorrow if somebody asked him. So we have to be careful not to do things that are not good for our health. We have to be careful to take care of ourselves. So that we can have the physical structure that we need in order to do the Lord's work, but also to take care of our families and to do whatever it is that we need to do in our daily lives. So let's not add to the physical weariness of it. Try to eat right, get enough rest, doing these things. But that's not going to be enough. Simply because you have physical strength doesn't mean you're not going to be weary. There are a lot of people that are very strong, but they're weary of life. And then the third, spiritual weariness. The weight of either sin or just the struggle of trying to be a Christian in a world that is not very Christian. particularly if we're trying to adapt the kind of Christianity that we ought not. For Christianity is not about the negatives, it's about the positives, and the positives driving out the negatives. We talked about that before, but it is not about me walking around going, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. If that's the way you live your Christian life, that's a defeat waiting to happen. The Christian life is all about, once again, when we talk about this, how can I reflect God's love to these people? How can I reflect the love of Jesus Christ, the sacrificial love that Jesus had to the people around him? How can I reflect that in this situation? The Christian life becomes an adventure of doing that. Because that's a big adventure. If you ever try it, just for a day, tell me it doesn't become an adventure really quick. Okay, I'm gonna reflect God's love to this person at the bank who's in front of me counting pennies. One at a time, to the teller, and she's got another barrel sitting there next to her. Okay? How am I going to reflect God's love to this person? You say, you got to be kidding me. That's what you think Christianity is? Well, I think that Jesus Christ died at the cost of my sins so that I can be forgiven and I forgive other people, including that person for bringing those pennies. Sorry. Nobody did that today. Anyway, I think that one of the things that we as Christians have got to realize is that we become spiritually weary by trying to follow something that God is not even asking us to follow. God is asking us not to follow this or that or the other. God is saying, follow me. Follow Jesus Christ. Follow the love that he has. Follow the forgiveness that he has. Accept his forgiveness, and then once you've accepted, extend that grace to the people around you. And when you begin to do that, your life becomes much more free. You're no longer bound up by that spiritual tightness that you have. And don't try to be a holy person. Let God's holiness flow through you. And there's a difference between the two. Trying to be a holy person will wear you down, beat you down. Letting God's holiness flow through you will fill you up and make you free. There's a difference. If you try to be the Holy One, I guarantee you're going to wind up like Carrie's mom or Ruby or something like that. One of these crazy Christians is. If you're trying to let God's love flow through you, you don't even have to do that. Just let it. Just say, God, I want to draw close to you, and I want your love to flow through me, and I want you to let your grace flow through me, and I want to be a person that follows in the pattern of Jesus Christ. Just let that happen in my life, God. And then focus upon that, as we talked about before, meditate upon that. And when you do, you will find freedom. You will find joy. You will find a relaxation that you've never had. If you're already doing it, then you can testify and say, Amen. You can testify and say, Amen. That's the one. I'm a single person in the congregation. Wow. 6 years! All right, anyway. Spiritual weariness. Spiritual weariness can just get us down to the point where we're burdened. We must learn to submit our lives to the only one who can truly help us, laying aside our pride and our self-sufficiency. Which leads us to the second point. We are first invited to, number one, to come, and second, then to take. All right? It's important that we keep these two things in perspective. First of all, one, we first have to come to the Lord before we begin to take. Trying to take the spiritual things before we come to the Lord, that's once again, that's trying to build religion on our own terms instead of allowing God to flow and taking from him freely. The order is significant. We cannot reverse them. So our first order of business is to come to Jesus. We must get up and go. We must detach ourselves from everything that's around us and just enter into his presence. Enter in on a daily basis. If you don't have any other room to go to in an entire house, just go in the bathroom. Just go there and lock the door and say, I'm just going to spend 5 minutes alone with the Lord. Just begin to detach yourself just for a little while and spend time with him and allow God to begin to speak to you and you speak to him. If you do that on a regular basis, setting that time aside, God will honor that, and you will begin to feel that God is moving in your life. Because God does that. God is an honoring God. He's a God who honors the fact that you took time out of your day to do that, and He says, you're acknowledging me, therefore I am going to acknowledge you. If you're ashamed of me, I will not acknowledge you. But if you honor me, I will acknowledge your name even before the angels. So this is one of the things that we have to be able to do, which is to come. Jesus' first direction to you and to me in this passage is, come. Come unto me, all you who are weary laden. I have to tell you, this is important for us to understand. If we just stay in our humpy-dumpy life and try to grab Jesus and bring Him into it, guess what? There will be no rest. We have to come apart. We have to come apart, set ourselves apart, spend time with Him before we go back out there. And He will come with us. And He will lead us. And there's a difference. Pastor, what are you talking about? Is having a little prayer life. I have a little prayer life. I have a little list I go through every single day. And are you just taking time to just let Him fill you? To just listen to His voice? To spend that time in peace? Meditating upon His Word? If you're doing that, you know what I mean when I say He goes with us into the day. And He gives us safety. If we don't come apart, then we will come apart. The second thing He says here, the invitation. I want you to think about this. He says, come and take. If I say for you to take something, it implies that it's yours. Right? Here, take some candy. If I say take some candy, I'm basically transferring ownership. True? Yeah? I'm not going to say, give me that candy back when you're done. It's yours. Take it. Come and take it. It's already yours. Jesus is saying, I'm not holding anything back. You don't have to beg me for these things. Just take. Then He gives something very, very interesting here. And that is, after He says come and take, what does He says to take? His yoke. All right, now this metaphor is very important for us to understand. A yoke is a big thing that goes on an ox in order to pull the plow. And you have a couple of ox that pull the plow. There were two ox. Whenever you had a young ox that didn't know what they were doing, it would wander all over the place, right? But once you had a mature ox that knew what they were doing, they were big and they were strong, and you would put the big, heavy yoke on them. Because they were going to do the bulk of the pull. And they knew how to do a straight furrow, right? So every single time you put that on that big ox, he would go straight, he would make his turn, and he would go straight, and you would have perfect lines all the way down your feet. But if you put it on a brand new ox, it was all over the place. It didn't know where it wanted to go, it didn't know what it wanted to do. Alright, so you put the yoke upon you. What is He saying? He's saying, I'm going to be the big ox. And you're going to be the smaller ox. And what they would do with the smaller ox is they would put a smaller yoke on it. And then it wasn't really a yoke where it did that much of the pulling. Basically what it was doing was training that ox. And where did she go? It was going to go there anyway. But this way it did it the right way. It did the straight way. Not only that, but because the yoke was smaller and its pull was less, it really wasn't working all that hard. The bulk of the weight was being placed on the bigger ox. Now, if it started to go the wrong direction, guess what? It felt constrained. It couldn't do what it wanted to do. It began to feel a little bit, squeezed, but it knew to stay on track. Now, when Jesus is saying, take my yoke upon you, what He's saying is this. He's not saying, hey, man, become a Christian, you can just do whatever you want, just party in the stone and say it's all grace. No, He's saying, take my yoke upon you, you will find your life. When guided by me, is light. Is lifted. Don't put all the pressure on me. I will bear the weight. I will bear the strength of what needs to be done. This is important for us to do. If you don't get this on a Christian life, I think a lot of people are trying to live their Christian life on their own power. I'm not going to say that our problem in our Christian life is that we have weak Christians. Our problem in our Christian life is really that we have too many Christians that don't realize they're weak and need to be at a place where they say to the Lord, you know what, I'm not strong enough to do this spiritual thing. I just don't have that kind of strength. I don't have that kind of spiritual muscle. I just need you to do it for me. I want you to place your yoke upon me. You pull the way. You lead the way. You show me where you want me to go. And I'm not going to get there on my own power, but I'm going to keep on being led by you. That's what the Lord said. Take my yoke upon me. Let me bear the weight for my... Think about what he says here. For your burden is going to be easy. For my yoke is light. What does he mean by that? Well, a light yoke for the smaller ox was always kind of velvety smooth, nice, easy to pull. If you feel like you're constantly tired, you're constantly pulling in the wrong direction, you're constantly going and you just feel like nothing's happening in your life, it's just in that Humpty Dumpty rut, invite the Lord to pull the weight. Every day, Lord, I take your yoke upon me, you pull the weight, guide me where I should go, lead me in the paths of righteousness. And when we begin to do that, and live that life of reflecting the love of God to the people around us, it becomes so much lighter. Now, I'm not saying it's easy all the time. You're still in the field, you're still but he doesn't say, and this is the funny part about this, he doesn't say, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I'm just going to tell you to go and spaz out. You don't have to do anything anymore. You don't have to, no. Just go lay down and sleep somewhere. No, it's not saying that. What he's saying is, come to me, all you are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest because I will change your yoke. No longer will you pull the weight, but I will pull the weight for you. And then you will feel rested, even after a workday. Therein lies the key to rest. Therein lies the key. Once again, last week we talked about happiness. This week we're talking about rest. But it all ties in together. The Lord wants us to have that rest. But we can only have it in Him. If you want to rest, if you feel weary, if you feel just like you're just constantly going and going and nothing's happening, and you're spinning your wheels, take Jesus' yoke upon you. The funny thing is I had a third part, but I think the third part I halfway covered in the other part. So go ahead and sit down. I start talking and I start going. I forget sometimes which part I'm on and just preach wherever I remember. I'm going to just kind of summarize this really quick. Because there are 3 steps to rest in this passage. It begins with personally connecting to Jesus Christ. Come. Come, all you who are weary laden. Buddha can't say that. Muhammad can't say it. The gym, the club, television can't say that. Your friends can't say it. No one can say to you, come and I will give you rest. The only one who can do that is Jesus Christ. Peace is found in dying to my ambitions, my goals, my activities, and submitting to His. So that's the first thing that you see. The second thing is that I must daily surrender my life to His. When I daily surrender my life to His, He fills it up. How many of you know who Tim Tebow is? Well, Tim Tebow is an athlete. He's like a good all-around athlete, but he's really not. He's like a master of none, but good overall athlete. He's not a great NFL quarterback. He's not really good enough to be a backup quarterback. That's not a dig on him. He was a great college quarterback. That's because he's got good feet. But he doesn't have the greatest arm. And it's just not set to be NFL stuff quarterback. That doesn't make him a bad guy. It doesn't make him a bad person. What it makes him is a guy who just is like one step away from not doing that. So we said, okay, I'll try baseball. So now he's in minor league baseball. He's doing well in minor league baseball, and he might make the majors. Who knows? He's a great all-around athlete, but not great at any one of those things. But he's given his life to Jesus Christ. And I want you to, one of the things I've known about Tebow the entire time is this. No matter what, God's taking care of him. He's taking very good care of him. Because he's not starting for an NFL team. He's playing minor league baseball. Do you think the guy is hurt? Absolutely not. He's able to travel around. He's able to speak at churches and schools and go all sorts of places and work for the Lord in great ways. He's not missing out on one single thing. In fact, when I said Tim Tebow's name, a guy who was basically a one-hit wonder in the NFL and was a good college quarterback. You can't remember who was the quarterback for, who won the Heisman Trophy 2 years ago? Anybody? Right. Huh? Green Bay. Green Bay, that's right. Green Bay won the Heisman Trophy. All right, so, but what happened with Tim was, he said, I placed my life in the Lord's hands a long time ago. He's got to be every step of the way. And now Tim Tebow's name, it's a household name, he's nobody athletic. But he's somebody with God. And he's somebody God's going to use him. So I have tremendous respect for the fact that he turned his life over to God back way before he ever became a pro. And God has honored him. What I'm saying is this. If we let God be honored in our lives, God will honor us. That's what he asks for each one of us. Let God be honored. So, the third thing is learn from the Master how to walk. We learn from Jesus. Study what Jesus did. You know that old thing, what would Jesus do? We can ask that question. How can I walk as Jesus did? How can I follow him? How can I be more like Jesus? I have one great supreme desire. I can be like Jesus. Therein lies the essence of who we are to be, what we are to become. And we can apply that every single day in our own lives. Therein lies another invention. And those inventions bring rest. So really, Jesus says three things, like four things in this passage. He says, come, take, learn, and rest. How easy? Come, take, learn, and rest. Lord, thank you. Thank you for your word. I pray that each person that's here can just spend time this week, make that commitment to just take some time to turn our lives over to you. Lord, we might know where we're heading on our eternal destiny. If we're not walking the way that you want us to, then we're just walking a life of personal strength. Pray, Lord, for the people in our church to find